The first item on the agenda today is an overview of the governor's budget request for broadband. Thank you, Executive Director Bree Mackey, for being here today in front of us to testify. And so with that, we'll just proceed right away. Please introduce yourself for the record and you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, representatives, for the opportunity to be with you again. Again, for the record, my name is Bree Mackey, and I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Broadband Development. I have just a few slides to share with you today, and welcome any questions you may have at the end. So the Governor, Walz, is recommending $138 million for FY24 and another $138 million for FY25. This is for general fund for our border-to-border broadband grant program. We stand ready to support these numbers at the Office of Broadband and also appreciate the trust that the Governor has put into our office as well as the programs. Again, unmet needs in Minnesota, about 88% of the state is at the 2026 speeds of 10 up and 20 down. But however, important to recognize that 68% of rural homes and businesses still need access to the speed. As the pandemic exacerbated, as well as what we already really know, broadband is essential and critical to the work that we do in our homes with telehealth, with our business and work needs, with education, and with economic growth. And also, I just want to recognize that our office, most of us do work remotely and travel, and we're across the state. And that talent that we're able to recruit and retain is because of access to reliable broadbands. And then one more thing I just want to highlight when it comes to the unmet needs is yesterday we did have a pretty incredible turnout to our Connecting One Minnesota event, which is wrapped around the BEAD and digital equity work that we're doing with NTIA. We had 242 people in person register, as well as 193 other online registrants. And then just because I always think it's really important to put a face with what's happening out there and a real story, I just wanted to share a quick story about a family in Delavan, Minnesota. And I'm just gonna share his personal story and his family story. So Greg and his wife depend on the internet for their livelihoods. Greg is a Pioneer Seal dealer and his wife is an accountant. Both work from their home in Delavan, which is about 125 miles southwest of the Twin Cities. Through a grant that the Office of Broadband Development was able to give their local telecom provider, which is BevCom, they were able to install high-speed internet fiber optic cables to their home, which is now 60 times faster than their old connection. He is now able to connect online for his seed treatment system and also get IT support, which he uses every day. And in his words, he says, "It's been astronomical. It was so slow to get things done. I can't imagine going back. To have reliable phone, internet, and TV is great. One of the best things ever." I really think that that demonstrates how simple but yet effective and important broadband is to all of us. And with that, I can open it up for questions.
Questions? Director Mackey, so I have a question regarding just kind of understanding the quality of the speed, right? 100/20 Mbps is a bit of a technical jargon for me that I don't quite understand. So what does that level of speed mean? Does it mean that I'm able to have Zoom meetings at a good rate, like instead of turning my camera off, or what does it mean to have a speed goal at that rate?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm not gonna lie, it's complicated for me too, and I work in this, so there is a lot of jargon around it. I think the important thing to note that these speeds are definitely the improvement. Yesterday we were reflecting with the governor's task force chairs, and the original speeds I think were like 10.3, and then they were adjusted to the 25.3, and now these are the speeds. We also need to recognize that for some of our funding with the federal is we need to have build uponable speeds. So when we're doing, these are the speed goals within our previous goals, but knowing with the Border and Border Grant Program that those speeds actually have to be, I believe, buildable 100 by 100. Thank you.
Okay, so can you define like what does that speed allowed a consumer to get? Do they get, are they able to use online business transactions, for example? Or are they able to have Zoom meetings as well, right? Can you explain what that looks like?
Sure. Again, thank you, Madam Chair. Those speeds, I mean, every home is a little bit different, so they do allow for Zoom meetings. I don't have all of the technical knowledge of how many people can Zoom at a given time, but I will tell you that I am fortunate enough to have fixed wireless with speeds at those speeds, and we can have all of our streaming going. I had a student that was home from college doing her work. I was working full time, having Zoom meetings, not having any issue with latency. So those speeds are good and doable, I think, for most, but again, I would have to defer and get back to you, and I'm more than happy to do that on the specifics with our providers on exactly what that means.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's important not only do we address the access, but also the quality of the speed and make sure that consumers are able to get their needs met online and in and out of network. So, and then one more question I have is regarding the 138 million, the grant amount. What are the grant ranges usually? And then how many grants do you anticipate with this funding dollars? It'll be, how many grants will it reach, I guess?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So again, that's a little complicated. If we want to go back over the years, we have, each year we've distributed a little different pieces based on the number we have. So this past year, we were able to distribute $99 million in 61 grants. And so in the Border to Border, our traditional grant program, it's up to the $5 million, but then we did do the pilot program, which goes up to $10 million per project. So it could be a wide range. The pilot program is brand new for the 8th round. But every grant round is a little different just based on the number of applicants, the dollar amounts of those applications have tied to their individual projects. But the max really on that traditional program is $5 million. And I think just also, again, a lot of the conversations that I'm having with our providers and also our associations is we're really looking forward to having that information and the interest within the low density pilot program, because as we continue to get further down the path of finishing broadband, it is more costly, and we have heard that the $5 million isn't enough, so that's why we appreciate the opportunity to go up to that $10 million and to see if that range is better for the communities and the projects that need to happen in order to really continue the work.
Okay. Representative Cha?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is in regards to mobile broadband versus fiber optic broadband. What's the comparison in coverage? Between the two?
Thank you, Madam Chair and Representative, for the question. So in our office, we really focus on being agnostic as far as the technology. That's certainly a question that, again, I'm happy to follow up with some of our more technical providers, but we really focus on at home, at business technology that is there. We also feel like the mobile is catching up, of course, like with the pandemic. We had hotspots in schools and utilizing a lot of our technical resources that way, but we know that fiber is most reliable, and we need to make sure that whatever technology that we use our taxpayer funds that we are allocated to do, that it is at the quality that we need and is a long-term solution for our homes and residents.
Representative Cha? Any further questions from the committee? All right. Well, thank you so much, Director Maki, for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you.